So I'm going to create a phone stand for you guys so you can see the basic steps to creating one. Now this phone stand is just something arbitrary that I'm making out of my head. You guys will be probably wanting to create something that's more realistic. This is mainly for showing you guys some of the tips that I would use. So let's start off by making the base. And so I'm going to go ahead and create a new sketch on my base. And I'm just going to go ahead and make this one the size of the 4 by 6. So 6 inches long, 4 inches wide. That's kind of like the base that I have to work with. And this first sketch, I'm going to go ahead and extrude that first sketch. And I'm going to make it, let's go ahead and set some variables first. So we're going to go over here. We're going to find our variables. I'm just going to type variables. We're going to create the variable. It's going to be the thickness. And it's going to be a number. And the value is going to be 0.125. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that. And so let's go ahead and move sketch 1 below it. And this first sketch is going to be my base sketch. Actually, we'll name it afterwards. So we're going to go ahead and extrude the sketch. And I'm going to name this extrusion the base. And I want it to be thickness. So I'm going to type thickness. And it's going to be 0.125. So I want you guys to use variables here because I'm going to show you guys how you can change the thickness of the base. Excuse my dogs. Okay, so this is going to be the base. And I'm going to add some features to this base. I'm going to go ahead and do a fillet. And I'm just going to do a small fillet on the corner just to give it a little bit more smooth. It smooths out the stuff, makes it look a little more finished. You can play around with your, oops, that's the wrong edge. I want to do this corner and that corner and that corner. Okay, can't fillet the other edges because it has to remain flat. And we want to rename everything, so let's go ahead and rename this base corners. Okay, so now I have my base corners filleted. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my work planes so it's a little easier for me to see. And I'm going to go ahead and thicken these because I want my base to be fairly substantial, fairly heavy. And this is going to be thickness. And I'm going to do this surface, and it needs to be new. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time. It's going to be thickness. And do the surface. It's going to be new. And let's go ahead and call this one the top base. And we're going to call this the middle base. Okay, so now I have 3 bases made. And I'm going to go ahead and add in some side pieces. And the side pieces are going to look, they're going to be on the side, and they're going to hold the part that swivels on my base. So I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch on this surface. And this time I'm going to use the corner rectangle because I want to come to this corner here. And I'm going to come up. And I know that I want this this piece to be about 4 times the thickness. So I can actually type it in. I can say equals 4 times thickness. Just take out the equals. We don't need the equals. 4 times the thickness. So 4 times the thickness would be 4 times 0.125 or half of an inch. And then the height, I'm going to go ahead and type that in. So I'm going to call this height. Actually, let's get out of here. And let's go to dimension. Shortcut. Dimension. I'm going to dimension this line right here. And I'm going to make it about 1 inch tall. Okay, I can always change that later. All right, so this is going to be my side piece. I'm going to leave the sketches 1, 2. I just know that the feature that's below the sketch is what the sketch is for. So I'm just going to leave that. And I'm going to extrude sketch 1. And I want to change the direction because I want it to go into my wood. And I'm going to make it equal to the thickness of my wood. And I'm going to go ahead and rename this and call this side bracket. All right, so there's one of my side brackets. I'm going to go ahead and add a small fillet to this, and this fillet I'm going to make it equal to the thickness of the wood because I don't want it to curve completely over. Actually, I do. I want it to go completely around, so I'm going to leave it at 0.25, which is kind of a default, so it's nice and round. Okay, or it would be half the width of this piece. And to this piece, I'm going to that's the side bracket, and we're going to rename this. And this is going to be side brackets. I can leave it side bracket. I know that this icon is a fillet, so I don't need to name it with the word fillet. I'm going to go ahead and thicken this piece up, and I'm going to thicken this direction. I want it to be new, and I'm going to change this to thickness. Okay, and in this case, enter, and right now I'm just going to leave it two pieces wide. So this thickened is going to be the middle side bracket, inner side bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this inner bracket, side bracket. All right, so once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and I want these same two pieces on the other side of my board. So instead of just recreating it on the other side, I'm going to go ahead and do a mirror feature. But in order to have a mirror, you need a plane to create the mirror over. So I open up my shortcuts, I go to plane, and I want to select mid plane, and I want it to be in the middle between this side and this side. And now you'll notice I have a plane in the middle. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and rename this. This is called the mid base plane so that I can recognize it later. And so now that I have that mid base plane, I can go ahead and click on mirror. And the entity I want to mirror is going to be my inner side bracket. My inner side bracket. Let's go ahead and click on the parts over here. And so these two parts, I want these to be mirrored. And the mirror plane is going to be this plane that I just created. And it's going to put those parts on the other side. Okay. Now notice I haven't done any laser joining. I haven't done any of those extra features because I don't necessarily need them just yet. Right? Because if I do that, I basically am creating a place where the parts won't work. All right. So we have a bunch of parts here. Let's go ahead and rename our parts. We should have all of our parts named at all times. This is the bottom base. Base. This is the middle base. This is the top base. And this is the, let's go ahead and click on part 4. This is the, we'll say that if we're looking at it from the front, we'll call this is our front. If we're looking at it from the front, we'll call this our left side. So we're going to call this our left side outer bracket. Left bottom OS bracket. I'm going to call this one left bottom IS bracket. And this one, let's take a look. We'll click on this. That's the outside. So we'll call this rename right bottom OS bracket. And let's go ahead and rename this one right bottom IS bracket. All right, so we have everything named. We now need to go ahead and create the rest of our parts. All right, so in creating the rest of the parts, I want to have an inside bracket that holds my top part. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and hide my work planes. I'm going to create a part that's on the inside of this that kind of mirrors this curvature right here. So let's go ahead and hide these parts. And then hide the bottom bracket. And I'm going to create a sketch on this plane. So new sketch. I don't want to revolve. I want to do new sketch. I'm going to look at it normal, right? And I'm going to go ahead and create a rectangle. Actually, let's create a circle that's in the center of this. And we want it to snap to this edge. And then I'm going to create a rectangle. Corner rectangle, go here, here, come up, bam, okay? And then the final thing I need to do is I need to do some dimensioning. So let's go ahead and dimension. I'm going to dimension from here to here. And let's make it the same as the other one. What did we say? It was 1 inch. So we'll make it 1 inch. All right. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and extrude that. So let's extrude. We'll call this, we're going to go ahead and extrude this. Extrude. And we're going to extrude sketch 1. And we want it to be thickness, equal to thickness. Thickness. And we're going to go ahead and call it new. And this extrusion is going to be my top OS bracket. Top, let's call this left top OS bracket. How you name it is not important. It's just know that you have to keep track of how you're naming things so that if you need assistance, you can come around and you can tell me what I need to click on or what you need to click on or to fix things. So we'll click the check mark. And we have our first part made. And notice that it's not named down here. So let's go ahead and rename this. I'm going to name this left top OS bracket. All right, and now we're going to thicken this again. And we're going to new. And it's going to be our left top IS bracket. And it's going to be equal to the thickness. And I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark. And then if you recall, what did we do in order to get the same part on the other side? We did a mirror. So we're going to go ahead and take up our mid base plate mirror, our plane. And we're going to mirror, and the parts we're going to mirror, we're going to mirror these two parts, make sure new is selected, and then mirror plane, we're going to mirror it across those two planes. Okay, and this should be new. So that I have two new parts. All right. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say we're going to rename this. These are our top bracket, top right brackets. CKETS brackets. And we're going to go ahead and now we're going to take this part and we're going to rename these down at the bottom. So we're going to rename this as the right top outside bracket. And then this one is the right this is the left top. I renamed the wrong one. Let's go ahead and rename this the left top inside bracket. And then we're going to rename this the right top outside bracket. And this the right top inside bracket. All right. So once we have that made, we can go ahead and create a hole. And we're going to go ahead and use our hole tool to create the hole. And I'm showing you how to do that right now. So we're going to go over here to this part. We're going to do a new sketch on that surface. We're just going to put a point for now. And we're going to find the center of that arc. And it's going to be right there. There's our point. And this is going to be our bracket hole. So we're going to rename this bracket hole. Once we have that point made, we're going to go ahead and use our hole tool. And the hole that we're going to create is going to be on this surface. And the diameter of the hole is going to be equal to the diameter of a 4 millimeter screw. So we're going to go ahead and type 4 millimeters here. And then we want it to be, instead of blind, it's going to go through all. So it's going to go through all the way through our part. And then we can go ahead and click the check mark. Let's go ahead and rename this bracket hole. Okay. And now we have a hole that's gone all the way through. And I'll show you why we're going to create the hole, why we're doing the hole in just a second. All right, next, let's go ahead. I'm just for the sake of this activity, I'm going to put the same kind of base on the top. Okay, so the base in the top will look somewhat similar, but you just get the point. You'll understand the point. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my work planes, and now I'm going to create a plane that is mid-plane between this part and this, and you'll understand why in just a moment. Okay. So this is going to be, this is the mid phone plane. This is the mid stand plane. So this is right in the middle of my stand. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this. This is my mid stand plane. All right. Now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and do my mirror function. So we're going to go ahead and mirror. And the entities I want to mirror, I'm going to mirror this part. I'm going to mirror this middle part. I'm going to mirror this top part. So the base, the bottom base, and the top base. And I want to mirror it across this plane so that I have those same parts at the top. And this is going to be the top parts. Or we'll call this the phone holder. The phone holder parts. All right, so once you have everything done, it'll be set up so that it'll rotate like this, or it should rotate if you decide to make something that rotates. Last thing you need to do is fit your screws in. So to do screws, you're going to go to Insert, and you're going to do a standard assembly, and you want to do an ISO, and you want to check on nuts, screws, nuts, and bolts. You want a socket head screw. And the length is going to be the distance through your part. And so right now we're using inches, and so 0.125 is 3 millimeters. So if we count this, we have 3, 6, 9, 12 millimeters. 14 millimeters should be enough. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Insert. I'm going to click on I'm going to go over to the part where I want to insert this. I'm going to go ahead and click that fastener. See if it goes all the way through. It does. I probably want to edit that and make it a little bit longer. So let's go from 14. Let's go 15 millimeters for the other side. We're going to go ahead and click on Insert. And then we'll come over to the part, and it's going the wrong direction. So let's show you how you can change the direction. So it's inside out. We want to go outside in. So come over here, look at the part, we'll click here. There's a problem with that part, so we're gonna have to change its direction. So I had the parts wrong, so let's go to Insert. I'm gonna use a 15 millimeter one this time. So we'll go to this part. Click. Actually, you know what you can do? You can actually click on the part, click Insert, and it'll automatically put the hole for you. Put the part for you. And we're gonna go ahead and click the check mark. And the last thing we need to do is we need to put in our nuts. So instead of a bolt, we're going to go ahead and click on our nuts. And we're going to click on the part where we want the nut to be. We're going to go ahead and click Insert, and it'll automatically put the nut on there for us. Click on the part, click Insert, and it'll put the nut. So let's say we have the wrong size nut. We can go to properties, and right now we actually that's not where we can do it. We gotta go to. We can just leave it as it is.